What's going on, guys? I hope that you're all having a wonderful day today. For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Ty, and today in this video, we're going to be ranking every single summer 2024 movie that I managed to catch over the course of this long summer. Now listen, I consider summer May to August. I feel like that's pretty much the summer movie season. I get that summer, might vary, or the official day, which is like June 21st or something. Doesn't matter. May to August, any films that came out. Some notable films that I've missed off the top of my head: Long Legs I did not catch, and also, unfortunately, I did not watch the Crow remake. For all two Crow fans, I'm really sorry, but yeah, I did not want to waste my time watching that monstrosity. But speaking of monstrosities, we've got a lot of horrible films to talk about today, and a lot of really great films to talk about today. And also, just want to mention, I'm actually in a new studio right now. I've just moved into a new apartment, so yeah, let's just dive into this. I'm feeling energized, I'm feeling fresh, and I am ready to go, especially after this dreadful moving process, because guys, let me tell you really quick, you do not want to move. You want to move as little as possible in your life because it sucks. But let's just move on. Let's get into this tier list. As you guys can see here, I've got 16 summer 2024 films. Again, just to reiterate quickly, anything that dropped from May 1st all the way up to the end of August, even though this is dropping in August, but nothing else is really coming out. And I've got 4 tiers here. We've got the summer heaters. These were the best of the best. These were those summer films that when it's a hot day, you're going to the movies to go catch that cold AC and you're trying to watch a banger. Enjoyable. Movies that I just enjoyed that were, above average. I had a really great time with them. They just weren't maybe like perfect or just absolutely amazing. Fine, perfectly fine films. And the last one, because we're going to try to keep it a little bit summer themed, Sunburn. This basically was like, I would rather get sunburn than watch these films again. They were horrible. I would have rather laid out on the beach for 8 hours, no sunblock, and just torched my body, because they were bad. So yeah, there's a couple on this list that definitely fall into that category, so let's get into it. Alright, so kicking things off here, we've got A Quiet Place Day 1 now. For those of you that don't know, I'm not really the biggest horror person, but I am definitely a sci-fi person, and I feel like this franchise does technically lean more on the sci-fi side, so it definitely intrigues me. I've only seen the first movie and this one. I actually haven't seen the second one, but I've got to say, I really enjoyed this movie. I think that it's enjoyable. First of all, this movie has its 2 main leads. You got Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn in here, just absolutely killing it. A really interesting story that is a lot more deep than I thought it would be, because from the trailers, you couldn't really fully understand what was going to happen, but once the movie starts, you're like, oh, I kind of see what's going on here. A bunch of really cool scares, a bunch of awesome, things that they're able to do now that they're in this new setting in New York City. It's really awesome, and again, I'm a little bit biased because I'm kind of close to New York City, but regardless, this was a really enjoyable film. It definitely hit my expectations. Next up is going to be Alien Romulus. Guys, I've been really hyped for this movie, and I know I just said I'm not a horror fan, but this was a summer heater. I absolutely loved this movie. It's just everything that I want from a film. I feel like to an extent, it has the perfect vibe. I love that it feels, and I've said this before, Fede Alvarez kind of gave it this vibe almost like the Batman, like Matt Reeves style, where everything feels so grimy. The colors are so dark, but also when there is a little bit of vibrant color, it really pops out. Just so wonderful. It's scary. The creature designs are out of this world. It gets weird in a good way, and in my review that I posted, I said that I didn't really like the weird stuff, but the more that I think about it, the more that I've really liked it, and it's grown on me. I need to rewatch it. And Alien Romulus is one of the best films of summer 2024, and one of the best films of the year. Go check it out. I adored it. I'm not even joking when I said that I would rather have sunburn, like 3rd-degree burns across my entire body, than watch the Borderlands movie again. Absolute garbage trash. I'm not gonna lie, when these trailers came out, I was like, okay, they're kind of going for the Guardians of the Galaxy thing, but I kind of like it. Like, maybe it'll be like a low-budget version of the Guardians of the Galaxy, just like an average, kind of get-together film. We're on a little adventure, a little sci-fi adventure, and especially for Borderlands, like, fans, I thought this would really be great, because I have never played the games. And it wasn't. It was horrible. And especially with the fact that you have all these names in the cast, like well-known names. Cate Blanchett, one of the greatest actresses of all time. Even Jamie Lee Curtis, horror icon. I don't know what happened with this movie. It's just a shame. It lost so much money. It sucks. It's lifeless. It's soulless. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I wasted a Friday afternoon watching this movie after work. I'll never forget that. It was just bad, man. It was just horrible. Next up's gonna be Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh my god. I made about 1,000 videos on this movie because, oh my god, it was my most anticipated film of the year. It's a summer heater, easily. I'm going to put it over Alien Romulus because I'm more of a superhero film person than a horror person, honestly. Did it live up to my 10 out of 10 expectations? No. I think it has a couple of flaws, but regardless, it's still a summer heater. It's one of the better MCU movies. I absolutely adored it. It was so over the top fun and awesome. And I think that those awesome moments, since they were just so absolutely crazy, even like the cameos, they were so wild, they kind of overglossed some of maybe the plot issues. But at a certain point, even though I'm more of a plot guy, which I know sounds stupid because pretty much every movie fan's a plot person, I was able to kind of just look past it and say, you know what? This is a really enjoyable film. They had a blast making this, clearly, and they just wanted to do this for the fans. And it was just such a great homage to the X-Men universe and a nice send-off. God, that post-credit, well, not post-credit, but during the credits, that little like send-off of the X-Men universe, little montage, that was so sad. But this is just a great film. I had so much fun with it. Next up is going to be The Fall Guy. Man, I got a lot of really good movies up here. This is definitely an enjoyable film. I think that I liked it a little bit less than A Quiet Place Day One. I think I had some story issues, a little bit convoluted, but the more that I think about this movie, and this is one of the biggest compliments I could give a film, the more that I think about this movie, the more that I like it, the better it ages in my head. Some films age better, some films just age poorly. There's not really anything to say about it. There's not really a rhyme or reason as to why. But this film, the more I think about it, I'm like, man, that was just such a fun time. Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt are just so entertaining. I'm really starting to like Emily Blunt. Like, she's really moving up my favorite actresses tier list. And I've got to say, man, it was just a great time. It was funny. So many like little silly gags throughout with like the dog, like Jean-Claude or whatever that it was called. And yeah, you've also got Aaron Taylor-Johnson in here just kind of killing it as like a little side character. I like the fact that they were making like Dune in here too, especially. That just made it a bit funnier, kind of as like a little like meta gimmick thing. I really enjoyed it though regardless. And yeah, it's going to go towards the middle of enjoyable probably. Oh my God, I love this movie. Furiosa is a movie, okay? Speaking of movies that aged really well, that I watched and I was like, wow, that was really good. And I already watched Mad Max Fury Road only like a couple months before for the first time, and I was like, you know what, this is pretty good, but it's not really for me. Even though it seems like the type of movie that's for me, wasn't too much of a plot, kind of just a lot of fighting, and I really did like the fighting, but regardless, whatever. Furiosa, I felt like really built on the plot parts, right? It had a much stronger storyline throughout. And it also gave a lot of context to Mad Max Fury Road, so I feel like if I went back to it, it would like be a lot better, basically is what I'm trying to say. I would enjoy it a lot more. But oh my God, the more that I just think about this movie, the better it gets in my head. Dementis in that one line, I just can't get out of my head, where he just goes, "Do you have it in you to make it epic?" I love that. That's my favorite line of the year, without a doubt. It was just so hard. I loved it. But yeah, Furiosa is a banger. I cannot wait to rewatch this. It just got added to Max too, so I need to check it out again. But oh my God, does it have maybe a couple CGI problems? Sure, but, and I'm not even really like a big Anya Taylor-Joy fan. Not that I dislike her, I just don't really like love or like her. So yeah, this one really put me on her. Her character is Furiosa. One of the best of the year, and easily, in my opinion, the best villain of the year with Dementis. So, next up's gonna be Hitman. This is starring my newly acquired boyfriend here, Glenn Powell. Just gotta love the guy. I've really been falling in love with him, man. I watched Anyone But You like a couple months after it came out, maybe in the spring, and I really liked it. And then I just watched Twisters, which we'll get into, and, you know, I don't want to spoil anything, but I had a good time with it, we'll just say, up until we get to it. But man, Hitman, something about it just kind of threw me off. I don't know. I feel like it started off really strong. Then as things went on, the story got a bit weird, and then it got a bit flavorless as it just went on and on and on. I really like the cell phone scene where he's like holding up his phone and telling the girl that he's with, you know, to like say certain things. But I just feel like it wasn't really what I expected. Not that I really had too many expectations, but it didn't really have anything too memorable in my opinion. So yeah, it's going to go in fine. Next up's going to be Inside Out 2. I'm in absolute shock by how much money that this movie made. It's like literally the second highest grossing animated film ever. It might even pass Lion King. It's still going at this point in time, but nobody saw this coming. Literally no one saw this coming from a mile away. Because Inside Out 2, when it came out, it was kind of hyped, but I don't think that there was this type of hype. I don't know if it just released at the right time, but Pixar needed this heater, and I've got to say, it was a very, very, very enjoyable film, if I can drag it. It's going to go right here at the top of enjoyable. I've got to say, man, this Inside Out franchise, I really love it. I thought that the first Inside Out movie was okay. Then I rewatched it before this film, and I was like woken up to how just absolutely nearly perfect that first film is. Going into this one, again, I kind of had, pretty high expectations, and they were definitely hit. This movie isn't as emotional as the first one, but it naturally progresses Riley's story, and I really enjoyed seeing her at a different point of life. There's some really funny gags in here with, like, the little fanny pack. I forgot what his name is, like Pouchy or something and stuff. God, just such a great, wonderful, little heartfelt film. One that I'm really looking forward to re-watching as well. That's also another big compliment that I could give a film. Next up is going to be It Ends With Us. I know there's a lot of behind-the-scenes drama going on with this movie, but I watched it with my girlfriend. I didn't review it on the channel, so that's why I like making these types of videos, because I could talk about movies that I didn't really get an opportunity to make a video about, or that I didn't think would be worth making a video about. But It Ends With Us, I'm going to be honest with you, I thought it was actually pretty good. I'm going to put it at the top of fine. I'm pretty sure it's going to stay there. Again, fine isn't anything really too bad. It's just that, it was maybe okay. I really enjoyed this movie, though. I thought it was pretty good. Was it perfect? No. It definitely got a bit weird with the story, and I know that it was following, like, a book, so I get it, but it did get a bit, gimmicky at times, a bit campy, like, not really in a good way, though. But regardless, I was really in love with, like, this triangle that was going on here with Justin Baldoni's character. Shout out to Justin Baldoni, man. And Blake Lively. I mean, he did such a great job directing this film as well. It was well directed. You could kind of tell that he had a lot of passion in it. And yeah, I was following the story. It was very emotional. And I actually went into this film having no idea what it was even about. Like, I didn't even read a description. So as things kind of progressed, and once I got to the end, I was like, oh, that's what this movie's about. So it was pretty good. I gotta say, I'd actually recommend watching it if maybe, I don't know, you got a girl, if you're a guy or whatever, I don't know, maybe just watch it on your own time. I don't judge, but yeah, it was a really good film. I'd really recommend it. It was pretty decent. Next up's gonna be Jackpot. Yeah, this is one of these movies where I was like, I just want to watch another 2024 film just so I can, like, add it to my list here. It's marginally better than Borderlands, but it's going to go in Sunburn. I really like John Cena. I actually like Awkwafina a lot better than most people, or a lot more, I should say, than most people. But yeah, it was not enough to save this film. It sucks too, because there was a lot of potential here. Like, the concept's pretty unique about how, like, basically there's this lottery, okay, where you win a ton of money in, like, Los Angeles or California. I don't even know, San Francisco. And once you win the money, you have to survive till sundown, because if someone kills you, they can actually steal the prize from you. That's pretty interesting. Unfortunately, the dialogue is extremely cringe. The plot makes no sense. It's rated R, but they basically just repeat the F word a bunch of times, and there's no violence. Even though this movie is literally about killing and trying to survive, no blood, no violence. It makes no sense to me. I don't know what they were going for here. It's just not good. The only reason that it's better than Borderlands is because Simu Liu's in here, who plays Shang-Chi, and I thought he gave, like, a pretty funny performance, but yeah, not exactly my favorite. Next up is going to be Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This was my second most anticipated film of the year, and unfortunately, it disappointed me. It's going to go right in between Hitman and It Ends With Us. I know that sounds crazy, because I was not expecting to even watch It Ends With Us. My girl just wanted to watch it, so we went to the theaters. And I was obviously, I had my eyes locked on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, but it just fell short for me. I don't know if it was that I expected it to be on the same page as that original trilogy, which you could say is unfair, because Matt Reeves, of course, was at the helm, and now he's not. But I really like Wes Ball. I think that his Maze Runner trilogy is really great. And I don't know, I just didn't really like the story here. I feel like it almost repeated War for the Planet of the Apes to some extent. And it just wasn't that good. It didn't really wow me. The thing that sucks for me, too, is that the first 20 minutes of this film, I remember being really, really great. I was like, wow, this is going to be excellent. This is going to be right on par with the trilogy. Then it just got worse and worse as it went on. That second act is so slow. And he's like with Rafa, I forgot what his name is, like Noah. Just not that great of a film. I don't know. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, the CGI is stunning. Don't get me wrong, I would rewatch it. But I don't know. Now I'm just not as excited for the next one if they do end up making another one. Alright, I'm going to kind of burn through some stinkers here. Next up, we've got The Idea of You. I mean, I'm going to put this at the back of fine. This is a movie that slightly aged well in my head. Not really. I mean, it's not exactly anything, write home about. But Anne Hathaway's in here, and also Nicholas, Gadazine. I don't know how to say his last name, but yeah, it's just like a little rom-com. It's so unrealistic. It's about, this mom and this pop star who, falls in love with her at a concert. It's pretty dumb at the end of the day, but, it had its moments. I don't think it's so atrocious. It had me hooked at times. It was watchable, so I'll put it at the back of fine, I guess. And then The Union, I mean, we're pretty much getting into bad territory here. I think it was better than Jackpot, if I'm being completely honest, even though it's just a Mark Wahlberg, streaming service film. I'm a Marky Mark guy. I'm sorry. I think he's pretty funny. I think that there was actually something going on here for the first half, but then the train just completely derailed and it got all wacky and crazy, and there was 80 things going on, and then it really fell into this like generic slop, type of streaming service film. So yeah, not exactly that great. Next up's gonna be Trap. This is a weird one because I saw that some people hate this movie, some people like it. I honestly am on the positive side. I think it's like, a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's great. I'm going to put it right at the back of enjoyable. Trap's a weird movie because I really enjoy the first half way more than the second half. I really like when they're at the concert. Then I think things get weird in a bad way, it just gets off the tracks kind of. I know I already used that reference, but yeah, it just gets a bit weird. I know that M. Night kind of plugged his daughter's music career in here, but I didn't really mind the music, and also I'm not really an M. Night fan. I think that his gimmick with, there's always a twist kind of gets old, but this one actually kind of hooked me back onto his filmography. I actually pretty much enjoyed this. Josh Hartnett, too, his performance was excellent, so yeah, it's going to go towards the back of enjoyable. Don't get me wrong. Not the most insane movie of the year, but at the same time, yeah, sure, there's some plot conveniences, but I kind of enjoyed him. I thought it was cool to see this slippery killer kind of get around this arena. So, yeah, it's going to go towards the back of enjoyable. Next up's going to be Twisters. Oh my god, I cannot believe how much I enjoyed Twisters. It's going to go in enjoyable, and I think it's going to go past Trap, past Fall Guy, past A Quiet Place Day 1, and I think it's going to sit right behind Inside Out 2. I thought this was going to be some mid-disaster film, but no. My glorious king, Glenn Powell, clutched up here, and he was just absolutely excellent. Him and Daisy Edgar-Jones, oh my god, their romance story here was so great. We got to see our Superman with David Cornsweet kind of being this snarky kind of villain element. Yeah, I just feel like everything just worked so well because as cool as the Twisters were, right? They pretty much weren't even the best part of the movie. You actually cared about the people, this small town, this rivalry. There's a couple of twists and turns in here too, to where you're like, oh, now I see where the story's going. It ends off on a really high note, even though they should have kissed at the end. Sorry, I don't mean to be spoiling this movie. It's been out for over a month, so sorry. And let's just ride that right into Unfrosted, the worst movie of the summer. Jerry Seinfeld is a comedic genius on paper, right? One of the most successful comedy shows, if not the most successful comedy show of all time with Seinfeld. I don't know what they were cooking here. This is the definition of corporate slop garbage that's being fed to people because, oh my god, this movie absolutely sucks. Don't even waste your time watching it. I don't even feel like talking about it. Just wanted to put on this list because I watched it May 3rd, so it barely made the cut to even be in this video. I actively hate this movie. Right now, it's pretty much tied with Madam Web for the worst movie of the year. I hate it. But just to end on a high note, god, I just love all these movies up here at the top, right? Even some of the fine ones, they're pretty good. But yeah, guys, that's going to just about do it for today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys liked this summer, what you guys watched, even just some of your best theatrical experiences, what's the most fun you've had in the theater. Let me know. And listen, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.